Today, I just want to talk about the BYD Dolphin because it's sort of crept up on me, and now it's coming quickly. So we're in Brisbane, Australia, and it is coming in the next few months to Australia. So it is tipped to be, we don't know the exact price, but it's supposed to be under $40,000 brand new. It's supposed to be one of the cheapest EVs that we can get here, which I believe so, unless I'm wrong. Also, comment below. So, a few reasons why you should consider it, because it is pretty compelling. This is up my street. So, Teslas, however nice they are, they're not my cup of tea, really. But I like practical, small, sustainable cars, you know? Ones that people can buy, and ones that maybe people aren't too stressed about. However, of course, when you go and buy a $40,000 car, you'll be stressed for a little while. But ultimately, it's not supposed to be a really big, posh, swanky car. So that's my cup of tea. I like it. So, just a little experiment. If you like the BYD Dolphin, if you like it, press the like button. So, if you don't like it, comment below. I'm interested to know how many people either hate it, or just don't like it, or they don't really mind it. You know, I really don't mind. My only concern with it is the front is a little bit ugly. That's it. But lots of cars have something, you know, whether it's a Yaris or a Honda Jazz or Honda E or whatever. Although the Honda E is actually just a fantastic car. I have never driven a Honda E, actually. If you've got one and you're local to Brisbane, or even on the east coast of Australia, all the way down to Melbourne, let me know. I'd love to come and have a go. And if you let me know and you've got one, I will come to you and I will drive it. I really would like to drive one. It's just I'm quite busy, so I haven't got round to thinking about how I can get my hands on one and experience it. But that's cool. A little car, 50-50 weight distribution with rear-wheel drive and plenty of power. And you can turn off the traction control, which is pretty cool. To some degree. I'm not sure how much. Right, so there are new videos coming soon. I've now narrowed it down to what I'll be doing. Videos where I go and talk and I show you things that people have done, like home conversions, or that local businesses have converted, and I'll be talking about all different products that you can get on the market from all sorts of manufacturers, about any sort of electric vehicles. It doesn't matter. And in my opinion, I think the smaller the better. So small cars, small motorbikes, small push bikes, the dinky push bikes with the 12-inch wheels, that's my cup of tea. I like that. However, I like anything electric, actually. I think it's all pretty cool. Finally, EVs are now, I'd say, something you see on a daily basis here in Australia. So that would mean they're mainstream, if you will. You see them pretty much every time you go out. So if I go from here to the store, I'll see an electric car. There's a very good chance I'll see an electric car. At the minute, it's really just Tesla Model 3s and maybe Model Ys. They're the ones that have got people into it here, which is great, because they'll go on to buy another one, and they'll think about solar, and they'll think about battery storage, because these things tend to go hand in hand. Fantastic. I like that. So I really encourage people to consider getting things like the Atto and the Dolphin. Fantastic car. The Honda E, again, I'd say you should consider that. Brilliant car. Made very, very well, from what I can gather. But my only concern, it's a bit expensive, really, for a little car. I've got a few videos booked in for the next few weeks, so I will be going to look at some classic cars that have been converted with some really awesome technology, like Tesla batteries and stuff like that. And they will be in the next couple of weeks. They hopefully will be coming out. I can't say for sure any dates, that's for sure. If you're watching this, then you're probably interested in, I'd say, at least half of what I do. I make videos every day about sustainable energy, the latest technology around the world, a little bit more specific to Australia because I live here. You know, how we generate and consume energy, the different things about electric vehicles, all sorts of electric vehicles, scooters, bikes, motorbikes, little moped things, you know, cars and so on. So if you are interested, click subscribe I encourage you to do that, and just watch stuff as they come along if you're interested. If you don't watch it. It's fine. But for those of you that are watching again and again and again, consider helping me a little bit with a bit of support on Patreon, even just $1 a month, $1 a month, wherever you are in the world, whatever $1 is to you. It's a very small amount, but you know, it all helps me because I do this for my job every day. Every single day I post these videos. I love it, and I want to go out and make videos that are more sort of further afield and go to different places to bring more interesting content sometimes than me just talking to a camera, as much as this is really useful and a lot of people really like this. So feel free to join my Patreon, link below. Thank you very much. So the BYD Dolphin, I think, is a beautiful car, and probably the back of it is beautiful. The specs for it, let's go over some specs, shall we? So the battery here in Australia will be, you'll have a choice of two. You'll have the 30.7 kilowatt hour and 44.9 kilowatt hour. So I'd probably just go for the 44.9 because that will really be a good option, I think. And you won't have to charge your car as much, and you can kind of use it more in a way that you're used to probably with your fossil fuel car if you have a fossil fuel car. The charging speed at home will be 7 kilowatts maximum, which is fine. That's all right, I think, especially for a little battery like that. Now the battery size isn't as bad as it might first sound, and I'll get round to why. The range will be 320 kilometers with the 30.7 kilowatt hour battery, and it will be 420 kilometers with the 44.9 kilowatt hour battery. That's what they say, and as with all other brands, it's usually a fair bit less than that you'll get in reality. However, oh, and the plugs, you get CCS 2 and Type 2. They're the ones you get. So the actual car itself, it's not a big car at all. It's not very heavy, and it has a choice of two outputs for power. You have 70 kilowatts or 130. So, of course, if you have the 70 kilowatt one, it's akin to a slower, small little city car that you might get if you have like a little petrol car, you know, a little 1 litre or something. You'll never really be able to use too much power, which means it can only ever suck so much energy from the battery, as it were. So that one will get a decent range, I suspect. The other one will be not too far off, I reckon, but it will be a bit more fun to drive because 130 kilowatts is quite a bit of power. So 130 kilowatts in horsepower is, I don't know, 160, 170, which is kind of like the Mini Cooper S, or I don't know, the Nissan Leaf. What was the original Nissan Leaf? Somebody tell me below. The original Nissan Leaf, the 24 kilowatt hour one. That, you don't need much power in an electric car at all. Horsepower is now kind of the secondary number. It's Newton meters of torque. That's what people are more interested in. So we should probably talk about the amount of torque that these cars have. So the 70 kilowatt hour battery has 180 Newton meters of torque. So that's a fair bit of power for a fairly small little electric car. I think it's pretty cool. It has some pretty awesome paint colours with it, which is pretty cool. I really do like it when they put decent colours with cars. As when you buy Teslas, people, at least in Australia, people basically always have white. The pearl white. They give them a fancy name, but what they mean is white with a bit of pearl in it, or there's a bit of some sort of tint in the clear coat, something like that. So that's the BYD Atto. No, so that's the BYD Dolphin. It's a beautiful car. I'd say if you can get it for under $40,000 Australia, even if that's the on-road cost, it's probably worth it. If you can get any sort of amount off of that through government grants, I'd probably run and grab one. It's a beautiful car, and I think it's a great introduction to EVs. Of course, something that needs to be mentioned with any electric car in a climate like Australia or Texas or Florida, anywhere hot, is on the Dolphin, the BYD Dolphin, it does have proper battery cooling on it. Not just a fan blowing around, but it has proper battery cooling. So even if it's parked up in the sun, baking, and you'll know what I mean if you live in a hot country, it's hard to really visualize the impact of the sun unless you live in a hot climate. I've learnt that. You know, you really need proper cooling on any electric car you buy anywhere on Earth. Even if you're in somewhere like England or Scandinavia, you do have hot days where it's 30 degrees, and that's when you're not driving. So when you step in your car and then you start shoving out, 100 horsepower, and you're driving around up hills and stuff, that will just slowly climb up over an hour, and it will take quite a while to then get that energy, the heat energy, out of the battery. And as we know, heat degrades battery chemistry, so we know this for sure. So that is a good thing, and that I think is partly why maybe I wouldn't get a Nissan Leaf. I always loved the Nissan Leaf. I think they're a great little car, and I think they look cool actually, even though they look a bit bug-eyed. But they have zero. Even on the very latest Nissan Leafs now, they don't have any thermal management on the batteries. It's passive. They say passive to suggest that there is something, but it's not even passive. It's just a battery in a box screwed to the bottom. It's nothing really. It's such a shame because it's such an expensive car. Fortunately, if you're in a country like America or England, or maybe like the Netherlands, I think I've heard of, you can get a Nissan Leaf with broken batteries or a degraded, a damaged cell, and you can get people to take the battery off and replace the bad cells, and that will give it a bit of a boost, So that's something to consider. Look into that wherever you are, Google it, and just see if that's an option, because that might be an alright idea actually, because there are a lot of Nissan Leafs now in scrapyards and on the internet where people are just selling the parts from them, and they're actually good. They're a well-made car, and they're really lovely to drive. So, but of course the older ones now that you'll see in the wreckers yards tend to have less than a 30 kilowatt hour battery. So yeah, thank you for watching. I make videos every day. Keep subscribed if you're subscribed. Thanks very much. Any questions at all, just comment below. I'll write back to anyone who wants a comment answered, or any questions at all. Any questions and you want to get in touch, I'll actually make sure now that I put my email address in the About section on the channel, because I haven't done that, I don't think. And I have often just been replying with my email address to people. So thanks for watching, and give the video a like if you have got the energy. Thank you.